Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Fajira. If you're joining me for the very first time, I'm so happy to have you in our beautiful family. And for my returning subscribers, I want to say thank you guys for always coming back to watch my videos. I really do appreciate. God bless you. If you're here for the very first time and you're seeing this beautiful face for the very first time and you're yet to subscribe to join our beautiful family, please do not forget to hit on the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, so each time I upload a new video, you're going to be the very first person to see that video. So guys, let's quickly dive right into today's video.
In today's video, I'm going to be sharing what you can do after you lose your job as a skilled worker. This is what a lot of people have been asking, which is why I had to go get those documents for me to share with you. So as you can see, losing your job as a sponsor skilled worker, if you're currently on a skilled worker route, your permission to be in the UK is dependent on your employment with the same employer and in the same route. This is also the case if you still have a valid permission under the historic Tier 2 general worker route. This is not applicable if, for example, you are in the UK with settled under the EU settlement scheme because you are not a sponsored worker. Therefore, if your employment ends, this will impact your permission to stay in the UK. The impact on your permission is the same no matter how your employment was terminated, but recently this has been particularly applicable due to an increase in redundancy made in the technology sector. I'm sharing this because most care homes are beginning to lose their license, and this has been the regular questions that a lot of people have been asking me. So they kept asking what happens if our employer lose their license or they terminate our appointment. So which is why I have to go get this document for you to also see with me and prepare yourself and know what next to do. As you can see, how long do I have to decide what to do? Your employment as a holder of a sponsor license will need to report that they have stopped sponsoring you as a worker to UK visa and immigration within 10 days of termination of employment. This is done using the sponsor management system, which is a SMS. So this can be done if an employer doesn't want you to work in the organization again, which a lot of people have been experiencing as well, or if the employer have lost their license, you will have to look for something to do. So just as you can see, following this, you will receive a curtailment of leave later, which sets out that you have 60 days following the end of your employment to make arrangements. The exact expiring date of your leave will be on the letter. In some circumstances, leave can be curtailed immediately, but this would be in an exceptional circumstances. Further information on curtailment of leave can be found on this blog. I will leave this link in the description box. So even though your employer has ceased sponsorship, you are entitled to work for any applicable notice period in your current job, including any gardening leave. You are also able to make a fresh immigration, this time while working your notice period. Generally, it is best to look for a new job or suitable immigration route as soon as possible if you wish to stay in the UK. So this is what happens either if your sponsor have stopped sponsoring you, which a lot of people are experiencing at the moment. You can switch to another employer or you can switch to another route. Or maybe if the employer's license has been withdrawn, like earlier mentioned, you still have 60 days to look for an employer. So can I switch to another route? There are various business immigration routes you may wish to consider depending on your circumstances, but I would always advise that if you have been on the skilled worker visa, either the health and care worker visa or maybe the Tier 2 general worker visa, which is still the same route, if your sponsorship has stopped by your employer, just look for another employer that will continue to sponsor you on the skilled worker visa instead of changing your route. That is in my own opinion. So your route to indefinite will continue to count until you get your settlement, instead of going through another route that you may have to start counting your settlement from the beginning again. Just look for another employer that can sponsor you on the skilled worker visa. And also, I get a lot of messages from people who are still in overseas that they are still waiting for their sponsors to issue them their COS. Some of the care homes have got issues and they're unable to issue them their COS. They are telling them to wait for 6 months, to wait for 1 year, and so on. Guys, I would just advise that it is better you start looking for another sponsor, because most times when these care homes have got issues like this, the home office gives them time to resolve it and meet again the requirements to be able to sponsor people from overseas. And in a situation whereby they are unable to meet that requirement, then they will still not give them their license to be able to sponsor people from overseas. I know of someone who has been waiting for the past 8 months now, and he had kept asking, do you think the care home is a problem or so? Guys, when a care home is in a big problem, you don't get your COS on time. Sometimes the home office can delay, but delaying for up to 8 months to approve a COS, that means that there is something wrong with the organization, which I would advise that start looking for another sponsor instead of you just investing that time in waiting for 8 months. We don't know when this is going to end. It could end anytime. So look for another sponsor and start your process again. If your sponsorship has been terminated, you need another sponsor, just as you can see. So you would need to demonstrate that the job is a genuine vacancy at the appropriate skill level and that it meets the salary requirement. Further information on this eligibility requirement for the skilled worker route can be found here. It is also worth noting that it is possible to set up a business in the UK, or if you own an existing one which can sponsor you, known as self-sponsorship under the skilled worker route. The company will need to first obtain a sponsor license. Whether you're staying on the same route or switching to another, it is crucial that the application is submitted prior to the expiration of your existing permission. So as you can see, once the application is submitted, your permission is automatically extended under the Section 3C of the Immigration Act 1971 until a decision is made. So what is the impact of termination on my supplementary work? As you can see, under the skilled worker route, you may be permitted to engage in supplementary and secondary employment in addition to your sponsored role. When your employment comes to an end, you are no longer permitted to carry out this additional work. So it means that you can carry out any additional work. Now we are at the place that a lot of people ask me this question. Just as you can see, will this impact my indefinite leave to remain application? Yes, as you can see, it may impact your prospects of applying for indefinite leave to remain. You can apply for indefinite leave to remain if you have been in the UK for a 5-year continuous period as a skilled worker or under the historic Tier 2 general work route. This time can be spent on a combination of the two affirmation routes. Your employer who continues to sponsor you must confirm you are still required to work for them and will be paid a minimum salary for the foreseeable future. This would therefore be challenging to obtain should sponsorship cease. So which is why I earlier said that if your employer have ceased your sponsorship, like they are not sponsoring you anymore, the easiest way to indefinite leave to remain is to continue on the same route. Like if you switch to the global talent visa or any other route, you would have to start counting from the beginning again towards your settlement, which is your indefinite leave to remain in the UK. So once an employer sees your sponsorship, or maybe the UK government seizes an employer license, please look for another sponsor that will sponsor you on the same route. So just as you can say, can I travel in the meantime? If you have submitted an immigration application, it is not advisable to travel because of the added elements of risk when returning. Depending on the timing, for example, border officer may assess your cancellation later and not permit you re-entry to the UK as a worker. Further information can be found on this. And if you are eligible to re-enter the UK using the e-gates, you will be entering as a visitor once your sponsorship has ended. As a visitor, your condition of permission in the UK are different to that of a skilled worker. There is of course the option to leave the UK. This should be done prior to the existing permission expiring to avoid overstaying. I've seen a few people in this, so this is just to remind you that if you have experienced any of this, like sponsorship being withdrawn by the employer or license being withdrawn by the home office, kindly look for another sponsor as soon as possible, because if you don't look for another sponsor, then you may just end up this way. So it may be possible to make an entry clearance application at a later stage, but I wouldn't want you to wait till a later stage. So once you sense that there is a problem, like I said, look for an alternative to stay back in the UK. So guys, we've actually come to the end of this video, and I hope you find it helpful. Do like and share with your friends and loved ones. Someone may find it helpful as well. Thank you, and see you in my next video. Bye bye for now.